becoming extremely detached from the world will make you even more richer. The reason why I'm saying this is because I'm speaking to you guys, the guys who run brokerages, the guys who run real estate agencies, and even the agents themselves. The same thing with the brokers. And even when it comes to the private lending or investment firms that I work with, having more of a detached outcome to money, to life, to how you essentially see the outcome of the world will make you a lot richer, because you come from a state of not wanting to expect stuff to happen, not wanting to, need it to happen. Obviously, you do want outcomes that you do want to happen. Obviously, when it comes to sales, when it comes to marketing and fulfillment, you want certain outcomes to happen, and obviously you want to prioritize that at all means. But you've also got to come at a state where you're just like, whatever the outcome is, I'm chill with it and I'm able to move forward. That's the thing that a lot of people don't realize, like, especially when it comes to like running those high-end brokerages and agencies. You need to understand that, especially once you get towards the higher and higher levels, like, the pressure's on. You're expected to act and be in a certain way, and it's like, yes, that's true, but also you still got to remain yourself, and you still got to come from a state of, I don't need this to happen, I want this to happen, I'd maybe rather this to happen, but whether it happens or not, that's totally fine by me. Because then this is going to start to multiply in your wealth, and also when it comes to, obviously, with getting more clients, getting more customers who want to work with you. Because instead of coming from a point where, hey, I want people to work with me, or hey, I've only hit this amount of sales this month, what systems could you possibly come up with? What angles, what strategies? How could you think in such a different way that, okay, sweet, I'm able to work with this marketing agency, they're able to help me out, get from plan A to plan B. Let's just say you're currently sitting at 10K a month, or even 50K a month. Okay, let's say your next milestone's like 100 or 500K a month. What game plans, what strategies, what people you need to hire? Who are you going to hire, and who's going to help you with scaling your ops? So I guess you can only do so much on the sales front, but also you've got to have more of a team. You've got to have more like partnerships. You've got to have more people working with you as well to make that actually achievable, because I know you're trying to do as much as humanly possible by yourself, but there's only so much you can do. That's also where it's like very, very important of not needing that outcome to happen. And honestly, if you guys want to learn more about how I can actually help you with scaling, obviously whether it's your real estate agent, broker, or even when it comes to the private lending investment firms, click the link below in the description, claim your free application, and we can have just a bit of a chat, see where you're at. But yeah, the point that I'm telling you is because I know you guys are obviously making 10, 50K a month, or even more than that, but you've also hit like this new bottleneck. You don't know how you're meant to face it, because it's probably been the most difficult one you've actually fought, and the most difficult one that you've actually faced, and you're trying to figure out what's the best way to do it. How can I solve this problem the best? And yeah, I completely understand that, because you want to hit the new income cap, but does the new income cap really matter? I know you want to hit new goals. I know you want to hit that $1 million a month. I know this might sound crazy, but does that income cap really matter? I know it does, but what will happen if you say, okay, sweet, whatever if I hit $1 million a month, sweet, whatever if I hit 500K a month, sweet, whatever if I hit 100K a month. How are you going to change your mindset when you hit that? Obviously, I know you're going to be going for the next milestone of $1 million, $5 million, $100 million in a month, which I know is completely achievable, and it's more than possible. There's so many different businesses all around the world that have it happen all the time. Also, I just broke one of my shoes, but it is what it is. But it's like, what can you do to make that possible? What do you need to do? And that's when it becomes more down to the mindset. That's where you need to come and understanding like a few of the universal laws. And yes, I know I'm telling you this as a marketing guy, but that's when you need to come down and understand that obviously you're now harvesting your crops, you're now harvesting all the time, effort, fulfillment that you've put in. Obviously you're still using referrals, you're probably not even using organic content, or you may be. Same thing when it comes to ads. Like obviously that will scale you quicker, but they've also got bottlenecks there. They've also got like, what might be your next bottleneck? Your staff, the amount of money you're spending on ads, because it could quite literally that simple of, hey, I need to spend another $1,000 a month on ads, or hey, I need to spend another $10,000 a month on ads. It could be as simple as that, so then you could hit your next milestone. So let's just say you're currently hitting 30K a month and you're only spending $900 a month on ads. Okay, let's up it to $9,000 a month on ads. How's that gonna act? Because you need to take that risk. But also the thing is, whenever you take that risk, you need to be like, whatever outcome happens, I'm cool with it because I always learn. Every single lesson that I learn is always a lesson learned. It's not a loss, it's a lesson. And every single lesson you learn will be added to your toolkit, will be added to your lessons, will be added to your story. Because remember, how many other business owners, how many other people in the world get, let's just say, between 10, 15, 50, 500K a month or even 100K a month? Honestly, how many people do that? It's like 0.1% of the world. So you've also got to realize that you're in a pretty lucky position. I know you've obviously worked your ass off. You've done everything you can to make it possible, but honestly, you've got to sit back and realize, how have you actually made that possible? What have you done? How have you ended up helping people? Obviously, I know you've got payroll and all that stuff you've got to pay. So how can you, obviously, so you're supporting more families. So, you know, it's not just you're also supporting everyone else. And I know it's just going kind of back and forth at the moment, but that's what's also going to make such a massive difference as well, because you realize, hey, if I take this risk, if it doesn't turn out, okay, cool, I can always just strike again. I can always just strike again. And I know you don't have as many chances as, let's just say, someone who's dirt broke and's got nothing to lose, but you've also got more capital than them. You've also know more ways to make more money. So literally, once you make your first 100K, making your first million's easy. Making your first 100K is the most difficult challenge out there. Obviously, once you make your first grand, once you make your first $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, especially online, the game becomes a lot easier. And that's where I'd say you need to detach from the outcome that you're happening, because you got to realize in this scaling phase, a lot of stuff all becomes down to a test. How can you attack better? How can you strategize? What stuff do you need to change? Who do you need to hire? Who do you need to implement? Also, what do you need to do as a business owner? Do you need to work more hours before you end up hiring that next person? Or do you need to essentially have like a short-term pay cut so then you can hire that other person? Because it's going to be difficult either way. You and I both know that. And obviously, if you don't want to face that difficulty, then you're just going to be stuck in the same position and you may even go back. So yeah, it does make it more and more difficult. I don't know. Like, there's only so much you can do. There's only so many reps you can hire. There's only so many brokers. There's so many real estate agents. There's so many, people in the front or back end that you can hire who can manage the team, who can run the solution, who can, get it up to the next point, or who can basically, let's just say if you want trails, let's just say if you want, not trails, if you want like settlements, let's just say if you want like $100 million in settlements a month, like, the amount of work that is required, or even like $1 billion settlements a month. You know what's required. You know what you need to do. It's just what risk, what factors, how are you willing to move forward? And as I said, coming from that state of not wanting, not needing, is going to make it move a lot quicker. It's like when I was talking to one of my sales reps, or one of the guys, my sales consultant, who's also doing a bit of the outreach at the moment. He's just like, you just need to come at such a point where you just enjoy the fun times, let it happen. And obviously, because we are just fixing up sales systems and all that sort of stuff at the moment, but once it comes to a stage where something ends up happening, because you should never define it as something breaking, because something breaking is generally bad. So let's just say something changing. It's as simple as that. And then you can see how the world is also reflected in that. And because essentially the world's reflective of your subconscious mind. The world is entirely reflected of your subconscious mind. I don't know, it might be difficult to hear because you guys live in a world of pure logic or pure sales, but everything you think, see, breathe, or feel is now out into the world, because as soon as you think it, it's out there. It's also the same thing. Like, you guys know when you got your first sale, you're like, I need this, or you just came from a stage of whatever, I'm the top dog. Like, you understood the process, what it was like for that. And think about it like this: you literally at every single level need to get your first sale for every single level. You need to go through that exact mindset shift again. And it's going to make such a difference once you understand that. And you got to realize, hey, I'm essentially starting back at level 1, but I've got like level 100 gear, but it's just like a new game plus. I've restarted the game again. The enemies are more difficult. I'm up to dungeon level 5 or 6 or 10 or whatever. That's not the point, but I'm up to dungeon level 10 or whatever. I've got back to level 1, and now I'm facing the boss again. And it's essentially just the same cycle over and over and over again. That's a bit that most people don't realize. It's not the same boss. It's different bosses, different difficulties, different patterns, different attack strategies. You've all got to work on that every single time whenever you scale. The best way to probably describe it is that, like, if you think about it, any book from mythology, it's like the Hydra always grows more heads whenever there's more problems. The enemy always gets more complex the more and more you level up, then the greater and greater you get. And once you realize, hey, If I don't do it the first time, that's fine. If I don't do it the second time, that's fine. If I don't do it the third time, that's fine. But there are easier ways how to scale, and obviously that's why I recommend marketing, because then obviously we can work what's going right or wrong with your strategy at the moment, and then we can just scrap it out, see what we need to do, plan out a strategy, and figure out a way how we can actually end up attacking it the best way that's actually going to help you. But yeah, you need to come from a point where you're just willing to be fine with the outcome. And I know you guys need every single outcome to happen the right way. Like, I've worked in finance, I understand that. I've worked in sales, I understand that. There's some months where you don't even know if you're going to actually pull it off. But that's what the world's like, a continuous battle. And it's like, you know that you've been in business for your whole life. You've been in business for the last 10, 15 years. You know that's willing to happen. That's the reality of the world. But yeah, other than that, that's it from me. And if I was you guys, I'd watch this video on your screen over here. How to influence anyone in basic English. So yeah, I'll give that a watch, then I'll catch you guys in the next one. Whoop out.